Greetings and salutations. Aloha, konnichiwa, and all of the other ways to say hello that I can't come off the top of my head at this particular moment. I am making another video on the Clutterly Ridiculous channel, and what I am going to present today, and yes, I will get to the decluttering that I am presently doing, so just be patient. I am gathering things back together the way I did the first time, only there's just less of it this time. So I want to get all that together before I do any kind of video with it. Okay. There's an aspect of this decluttering that, as I've gone along, I begin to discover things along the way, which is why I'm sharing those things with you. And one of the things that I am looking at here, a good friend of mine proposed to me a concept and a principle that I have lived by throughout the years, but he said it in a way that was very sensical. And the process of the declutter is like sifting. Now, if you go on YouTube and you watch a show like How It's Made, you'll see that they have different things, like when they produce different grades of sandpaper, they have the materials going on a screen which is shaking. And what that does is the material that is larger than the screen that it's on will remain on that screen. The particles that are smaller will fall down to the next screen, which is finer. And then it shakes and shakes and shakes. The material that's bigger or big as the screen stays, and then the smaller material falls through. So that's how you get to a finer and finer and finer grade of sandpaper. And so that's a concept with the decluttering, is that the beginning of the clutter can be, let's knock out the big things, like the old dresser that's molding in the garage, and the old refrigerator that you had the intention to restore, which never seems to happen. I'm talking like a classic refrigerator. You start to knock out the big things. And there's a principle behind this. It's a life principle, it's a spiritual principle, but it's also, in this journey, it's a principle. And that is the story of Michelangelo, the sculptor, who was asked, how can you come up with such a work of art from such a seemingly nondescript piece of stone? And he said, the statue was always inside the stone. It's always there. I merely cleared away the debris around it. And so the vision you have, whether it's just to declutter, it's just to organize, or to go down the road of being more of a minimalist, is a journey and a process. Because when you observe a sculptor, they take the initial block of stone and they use big hammers and big chisels, and they knock off big pieces. Those big pieces begin to form the basic shape. If you want to really use some wordsmith words, the similitude of the form that they are trying to create. And then as they begin to do more and more details into the carving, they begin to use smaller tools, sharper chisels, and it's the idea that as the process goes down the road, you get into the smaller details. So you might get rid of the refrigerator today, you might get rid of some papers tomorrow, but then if you're walking down the road of minimalism or organization, you're going to start to get into the knickknacks, the details, the small things. And so I find that that type of a mindset, or that type of a knowledge of the process, has been very instrumental in me doing what I'm doing, because you can get discouraged if you look at your goal and not the steps that it takes to arrive at your goal. You have a goal. My goal is to have my life in my house in a state of minimalism. Now, I don't have a family. Okay? If you have a family, this doesn't necessarily mean that you can do what I do. It's a concept that you can modify. But my concept is to have a minimalism where I have a plate, a fork, a knife, a spoon, and I use those over and over. Because when you are a person that is a mess maker and you can't organize, you'll find that a lot of people who are minimalists are people who just don't know how to handle and to organize what they have. And that's me. You know, it's part of the honesty that and the realism that I have to embrace with myself, is that I can't organize things well. I can do it to a degree, but to be a caretaker of 100 things, no. So this is just what I'm doing, you know, and I have my musical instruments, which is on my other channel, which is called Full Octave Music, but I have my furniture, and I have the basics that I need to live. And so, what is it that you need in life? Well, why don't you ask yourself, have I used this hummingbird feeder that's been sitting in my closet for 21 years? I'm going to say the chances that you're going to use it are pretty low. I'll wager odds that your chances of using it are slim. So why not give that to somebody who will use it? You'll be ridding yourself of baggage, and you'll be blessing another person, which, isn't that what life's all about? Too many people in this world are consumed with themselves. If you study narcissists, they are people who literally have little capacity, I'll say no capacity, to think about anyone else but themselves. And so that is a second step. It's a dual benefit that you can get. You can reap a dual benefit. Okay, let's get this part of life solid. All right, and let's get it done. Let's get it done. Get it done. This is Larry the Cable Guy. If you're here in the CLUTTERLY Ridiculous channel, I'm going to tell you right now, get her done. Okay, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.